go. Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to share with you techniques that I use to improve my line confidence. And I will also talk a little bit about line weight. So what is line confidence? Line confidence has to do with the ability of making confident, bold lines by just moving your entire arm. And two things that I would recommend that you practice to improve your line confidence is when you're drawing, you want to hold your pencil or your stylus in a comfortable way. I'm right-handed, so I typically like to rest my pinky on the surface of the drawing tablet. And I will also extend my pencil in such a way that the pencil tip is pretty much in line with where my pinky rests. So I have roughly about an inch above where the tip is, and that's where I typically hold my stylus. So that's the first thing. You want to draw in a way that your wrist is constantly resting along your surface. What I've seen in the past when students are learning how to digitally draw, they will either draw like this, where their hand is floating above the surface, and you really introduce this variability of having your fingers kind of warble, and it doesn't really help you with your line confidence. So what are some exercises that you can practice to improve your line confidence? Well, now that you've got your wrist resting on the surface, I would say the first exercise is to try to see if you can make straight lines by simply pulling lines down towards you. This is the first good practice exercise. And the idea here is you're using your entire arm and you are locking your wrist. You want to keep your wrist from swaying and moving around. You want to just keep the wrist as stationary as possible and let your upper arm and shoulder do all the work. And so here I'm pulling lines from left to right, keeping the wrist as stationary as possible. And initially it's going to seem weird. It's going to seem a little bit frustrating. But these are, practice exercises that I think will definitely help you get more comfortable with not only digital drawing, but drawing in general. Once you have that first technique out, the next technique I would recommend is to make stars. So the idea is to use your entire arm and make these crosses, right? So you're just trying to find the center. What you're doing is you're training your hand-to-eye coordination, and you're also using your entire arm to go ahead and make marks. And you're pulling these lines towards you, you're resting your wrist on the surface, and this can really help you improve your line confidence. Once you have that second technique down, the next technique is to go ahead and just make circles. And when you make these circles, you're going to, again, use your entire shoulder, and you're going to lock your wrist as much as possible. Pretend your wrist cannot move. And don't stop after you make the first revolution. You want to go ahead and go through it a couple of times, and you can overlap these circles. And again, it's a great way to develop those muscles in that area and also improve your line confidence. And it is a workout. When you do this over a period of time, I'd say that if you diligently practice these exercises within 30 days, you will start to see an improvement in your line confidence. Now, the next part of this is to talk about line weight, because I think there's some confusion as to what line weight is and what line confidence is. Line confidence is your ability to make confident marks on the page. So what we're trying to get away from is we don't want, you really don't want to kind of like feather your lines out like this when you're making a long curved line. You want to be able to pull that line down, and that's using your entire arm. What is line weight? Line weight is something that allows you to, when you're making a mark or making a line, it's the ability to go from thin to thick. And the way that you can improve this aspect, this is really a function of usually your brush settings. You want to make sure that your pressure sensitivity is on. I'm using Photoshop here. And you also want to make sure that your brush is not super small in size. If I use like a 1 or 2 pixel brush, no matter how much, and I'll maybe just exaggerate this for effect here, I'll just use a 7-pixel brush, you really are not going to get any line variation. So the line width is going to be fairly even. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are certain styles where you do want to have an even line weight, particularly when you're animating. But if you're illustrating and you're frustrated with the fact that you're not able to get thin to thick lines as you work, what I would suggest is just simply bump the brush up to, roughly about 30, and you will start to see that, and as you're making your circles, for example, you will start to see that as you bear down on the pressure on your stylus, your line weight gets thicker. So this is a really fantastic way of improving your line weight. So I hope you found this video to be informative. This is something that I've been wanting to make for quite some time. I know a lot of students are struggling with this particular aspect. Some pick it up pretty fast and some of them are still working through it. Let me know what challenges you have with regards to your digital drawing. I'm very curious to know what areas you struggle with, and I'm also curious to know how these exercises, if you practice them, how they're helping you out. So please let me know in the comments below. And if you see me on Instagram, I'm Krishna Draws on Instagram, all one word. Just tag me, and I'm very curious to see how everything plays out. I do want to thank everyone for your support. Thank you for watching these videos. I will try to at least make a video a week. And maybe I'll bump the frequency to twice a week, but let me know what you'd like me to talk about next. And I do appreciate the subscribes. I do appreciate the thumbs up. Any kind of feedback is very helpful for me with regards to making videos for you. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.